What's up, Rockstars? Got a big update for you today because there's like the biggest Kickstarter like in a long time going on right now. A ton of new announcements, some things that are coming up that like have like a timer coming on. So that'll be pretty cool. We got stuff for kids. We got cats. We got everything. So it's going to be a cool video and I'm super pumped to share all of it with you. Now, a quick update. I've been playing this. Got it for 19 bucks. That's the joy of retail. I know this is a Kickstarter video, but seriously, 19 bucks. I just spent like hundreds on the DC version, so figured may as well try the other one. And yeah, I liked it. It was pretty cool. So yeah, I guess money well spent, sort of, kind of, because this was also only $19 for quite a bit of games, so that was also kind of neat. But whatever. Here we are spending all of our money on crowdfunded board games. That's all right. Another thing you could spend your money on is fantastic, amazing shirts, because the sponsor of today's video is Into the AM. I have a 10% discount code that works on top of any sales, which I have a huge 60% sale on. This is an Into the AM shirt right here. One of my favorites. Love it. I've had this shirt for about a year. This is how it still looks. It still fits great. It still feels great. Super high quality. I've worn this dozens and dozens of times. Love it. They make great quality products. They make great pants, great shirts, all that kind of stuff. Polos, you name it, they have it. It's really fantastic. Now I'm going to show them to you right now, but I just wanted to say I didn't even lint roll this. This is literally how it looks, okay? I have a mess behind me, okay? You guys get the real deal here. You guys know what I'm talking about. So here's their website. As you can see, clearance sale, 60% off. And honestly, they're doing sales on like packs too and junk. And so like if you just like click here, you can see that you can actually get sales even on like the normal stuff as well. Now it's going to keep loading up here. It's a little slow right now, but seriously, some really great product here. Highly recommended. I will gladly put my name next to theirs. Look at that painting one. That's awesome. You paint your minis in that. Seriously, super comfy. Into the AM. Save 10% on top of any sales they have with my code down in the description below. Thank you to the AM for sponsoring today's video. And with that said, let's jump into it. Okay, we're not going to beat around the bush. Right up front, Brandon Sanderson. He's back on Kickstarter, breaking it again. It raised like $4 million like the first day. It still has 21 days to go. This is a Cosmere RPG, but even if you're not a board gamer, this can still be interesting. In fact, where I'm not backing for the game, but I'll talk about it. 21 days ago, 18,885 backers. That's constantly going up. 5.5 million raised so far. It's going to keep going higher. They are doing some great stretch goals too, so I'm going to kind of explain this for you. But either way, this is the whole Cosmere role-playing game, so it's in a lot of his different settings. That being said, they're starting out a little bit smaller and going to keep kind of expanding it, right? So there will be expansions here. So I'm at the reader pledge, and I'll explain that in a moment. So let's just scroll down here. You see they have the RPG stuff. It is their own RPG thing, but it's still D20 based. But they didn't want to like be bound. They wanted it to really fit the different magic systems as opposed to really being constrained by a pre-existing system as well, if that makes sense. So they kind of made their own custom thing here. But you can see you have Mistborn, right? You have obviously the Stormlight archives. You have Elantris, and then you have World Hoppers that go in between them, right? So Mistborn's coming 2026. Elantris, they don't say anything about. Elantris was the first book I read from them, and I loved the whole like dead magic system that they have there. That was super cool. So definitely pumped for that. The books are kind of cool. So they have these world guides, which are 224-page hardcover books that have like actual illustration, which this is like the first time we're seeing his stuff like officially illustrated, which is kind of cool. Yeah, that'll be awesome. Then you have the handbook, kind of teaches you how to play the game. That's 256-page hardcover. And then you have the actual adventure. Now, these adventures are canon. They're actually written by Brandon Sanderson and Dane Wells here, you can see. So literally, this is like part of it. In fact, it goes in between, I think, the last book he's written. So it's even kind of modern too. It's not like it's like, oh, back in the past, you know, fitted in that way. It's not the prequel trilogy, right, from Star Wars. And they have the Mistborn, same thing. So it's mostly Mistborn and the Stormlight for now. So and again, they're going to be adding more and more. So you have these two here. right? For the e-readers, $60, you get the PDFs, English or Spanish. You have the reader. This is where I'm at, because as a reader of the books, but not necessarily an RPG player, I can still get these beautiful 250 almost page hardcover books that I can put in my collection, actually read about the world and, you know, see the illustrations, stuff like that. I think it's a great addition if that's what you're wanting, and in which case, there you go. You have the player for $195, and then you can have the GM for $295, and then the collector for $385. Now, before we go farther, let's go and look at what people are backing, because that's kind of interesting. So you have the reader, the e-reader, $281. Then you have the reader. I have it up here. So this is 1,900, almost 2,000 backers. Then you have the player, a little bit less than the reader, actually. And then you have the game master, 5,000. And then you have the collector, the top one, at 7,400. In fact, even 90 retailers at the 400. Like, it is, people are going all in on that. And that's because the minis actually look pretty cool too, which is kind of neat. So they have some Stormlight miniatures as well. But either way, you can add all this stuff, piecemeal it together, do whatever you want. You guys know how it is. Honestly, I'm pretty pumped for it, just because I think it's a great like world universe to kind of dive into, and it's just enjoyable. Now, these stretch goals, they're not based off what they're making. They're just like, look, you guys have like funded this really well, so we're just gonna make it like super premium. So like they're gonna have like gilded words, and like all the like edging on all of them are gonna have like this gold gilded page to it and stuff like that, right? Or you're gonna get a Welcome to Roshar book for pretty much anybody who gets a physical book, or a PDF if you get the PDF. So honestly, pretty cool. And it's going to be huge, of course. Again, already 5.5 million raised, and I suspect that's just going to keep going up. Again, still 21 days left. There's going to be news articles written about it. There's going to be videos like this written about it. I'll keep you up to date on how high this, again, it's going to keep going up. Pretty interesting. Okay, moving on from that to the Cats of Mont St. Michael. And yeah, 150,000 raised, over 1,000 backers, so successful there. This is actually kind of cool. And in fact, I'm actually kind of surprised it's not more. Except that, again, it has over 1,000 backers. It's not super expensive too, right? Which kind of like hurts raising a whole bunch of money, right? There's a reason the Sanderson one is that, and it's because the all-in's like, you know, almost $400, right? And so if a lot of people are doing that, it's a lot of money. This is a solo co-op kitty cat game is what it says. I would normally not say that, but I was reading it, so there you go. You got me to say kitty cat. It's actually kind of cool. It's this narrative book. You play it in the actual scenario book there, which is obviously a lot of fun. It means it sets up really quick. It means it doesn't have a lot of table space, stuff like that. So that's really cool. Again, I like the fact that it is like this story narrative thing. It's like this legit thing that you can play together. 18 standees, but you can also get minis for it. They look awesome with some tokens, markers, stuff like that. Honestly, pretty light in the like components and how much you get. And I actually like that. I think that's great. Here's some 8 hero miniatures. All those look great. Then there's some 15 vermin miniatures here. Again, a lot of these look good. Some of these are getting a little skinny, but honestly, I think it'd be pretty okay. They actually look pretty nice. I like them. There's a few repeats, right? There's 3 of this guy and 3 of this guy, but otherwise all unique sculpts there. And again, I think they look fantastic. So they're doing a lot of updates and stuff like that. It literally, like the PDF here, really cheap. This is what you're looking at here, though. $48 for the cool cat pledge, and that gets you the game. That's kind of what you're looking at. Honestly, $50 for a fun little kind of cat game. I know my daughter would love this. It's actually pretty cool. The miniatures, by the way, they have them like painted here, like look really good. I'm actually kind of impressed. Like that looks awesome. So yeah, definitely neat. How do I close out of this? My goodness, it's all dark. I think that looks cool. It's got 21 days left as well, so still quite a long time for them. Next up is Dead Reckoning. This actually ends really soon here. So at time of recording, 43 hours to go. By the time you get it, you're close to like the 1 day-ish mark, kind of. I guess you're still at like 1.5 days. Either way, 450,000 plus raised, almost 4,000 backers, doing quite well. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, obviously people like the game, and that's good, but it can get pricey. So $45 for the game, I think, is an awesome price. I think that's awesome, right? $189 for this chest. I mean, it's nice, I guess. That's freaking premium. That's a lot, right? It's wood and drawers for storage, essentially, right? And my problem here is, unless, like, you probably are taking the whole thing out, I would think. In which case, then they're all going to fall, or I don't know. I don't know if that actually is as optimal as it seems, but, you know, I'm not over here spending $200 on it either. So Deccan reward, it's $79. It's kind of like the fancy version here that you're kind of used to. The all-in reward is $549, which is just like a lot of money for this game. That seems, I don't know. That's a lot. And some of it, I mean, the box obviously is a big part of it, but even like the coins, so you get like metal coins, right? But it's like $40 for metal coins. And I don't know, that seems like a lot to me. You guys let me know. I don't buy a whole lot of metal coins, but yeah, that seems like a lot. Or it's like upgraded cargo and it says painted composite cargo, but it's not painted in the way that you think of like a painted miniature even or something like that. It's just all one color, right? It's just been like sprayed down. So I don't know if wooden components is worth $30. It seems kind of expensive to me, I guess is my point, for a lot of that. That being said, game seems solid. I think getting the game, it makes sense. I don't know if spending $600 on Dead Reckoning makes sense, but you know, at the end of the day, it's your money. Do what you want with it. You're almost out of time to do it, though, if you want to put it towards here. So, FYI. All right, next up we have Jurassic Feud. 92,000 raised, 852 backers to go, still 6 days to go. So, definitely doing well. Again, I suspect they'll at least get that 1,000 backers. And honestly, my daughter would love this. This looks like a really, really fun game for kids. It's definitely, you know, you're normally going to want kids, so this is something you could even get non-gamers to play, which might be kind of nice. It's actually kind of an expansion, kind of, too. Let me scroll down and show. I mean, obviously you get, you know, all this like fun stuff to build your area with, and the dinos, and you get, you know, a hydro, volcano, and stuff like that too. But the previous game, Catapult Feud, this is essentially adding dinosaurs to it. It's kind of the same expansion. So in fact, you can spend $40 and get just the dinos to add to that if you already have a lot of Catapult Feud. That being said, you can always go big and like do a whole bunch of fun stuff. And that's what they're kind of showing down here, where you see people doing like custom combinations and fun games. Or this guy's got tanks on there. His kid's gonna have a blast playing that with them. So I think that's awesome. It's really cool to see that. So if you have kids, this might be something to look into because it looks pretty fun. All right, next up, Dungeon Twister 20th Anniversary Edition. If you were a kid once, you may have liked this. I'm assuming everybody, I guess, was a kid once. But yeah, 20th Anniversary. So it's been a hot minute for this to kind of see a light of day. And it's definitely a premium version. Honestly, the minis look good to me. I think they actually look quite, like, these look nice. This looks nice. I'm actually pretty impressed by how good that looks. Like, everything here looks nice. They're actually using real components for the video. I appreciate that. So yeah, it's a unique game for sure. It's not the way it's not like a dungeon crawl in that sense, which is kind of that dude is never going to be able to lift that shield. That shield must be so heavy, dear Lord. It's probably a more dangerous weapon than the sword, to be honest. Anyway, looks nice. You can see €69 for the main kind of board game. The Goblin pledge. Anyway, then there's a Paladin pledge for 115, and then the Archmage pledge was kind of like the all-in for 199. I think they could improve this a little bit visually just by showing everything you get, or at least really showing, hey, you get like here it's like, oh, this is like the more expensive one, right? But it doesn't like you actually get a lot because they don't call out a lot, because you get everything plus this, right? But it doesn't even necessarily show that visually well. So there's a few improvements I think they could do there, but otherwise I think it looks pretty neat. And again, about 418 backers, 26 days left to go on that. All right, next up, Ascending Fate by Freebooter Miniatures. I've shown this off a little bit before, so it's 13 days to go, 66,000 raised, 289 backers. And honestly, most of them, I believe, are German. If you go to the comments, a lot of them are German. This is very popular in Germany, not so much in the US, which is sad because I think Freebooter's Fate looks really, really cool. And the Ascending Fate, I think, looks like a neat theme as well. It is quite pricey, though. So let me kind of go over that, because I've shown a lot of this to you guys already. So I'm going to talk around this point of it, because I haven't really done that yet. So if you go here, it's kind of like a Warhammer kind of thing, where normally you don't necessarily need everything, right? So like here is a good way to get all the starter boxes. Honestly, that's actually pretty cheap. $233 for the core game plus all 4 starter boxes. That's actually kind of nice. That's pretty good. We'll get to what they're unlocking next. But otherwise, you can get the starter box, right, which is about $41 and comes with like 6 people here. That's awesome. By the way, some of these minis are really good. I'll point that out in a second. But if you want the all-in, $144, right? It's quite a bit, right? You get the starter plus everything else. So this right here is $144 essentially, which is you know, again, a fair amount there, right? Now some of these minis, like I like this one a lot. This person right here in the middle here. So if I show you this, not so much this one, but this one. So showing the motion in the sculpt here is really cool. I think I really like seeing, like, it looks like they're, you know, really moving it. And I think they did a great job with the sculpture. You don't see that very often. Normally it's very static, and the motion is just in like the clothing ripple and the hair ripple or something like that. So it's really cool to see that. In fact, notice she's not in a huge amount of motion. She's got a cool pose, but a lot of it's her weapon. And I think that's super awesome. Also, this entire theme kind of reminds me of like Horizon Zero Dawn kind of stuff. And I really like these people's cloaks. I think that looks cool too. Right? So probably should have made the other picture big too. But either way, I think they look kind of cool. Now, another thing that they're doing here, they also have like a dinosaur. So again, like, they're not even like super sci-fi, is they have this exclusive character here, all right? This is the first of several that they're going to do. They do them on days, so they are going to unlock them. It's going to be one for each faction. So this is the one for this faction, and then they're going to have one for the other factions as well. This one's kind of neat. I think these guys look pretty good. You can see that they actually get sculpted often, at least partly, by hand. So they'll actually do that, which I think is pretty cool to see. And they do that with Freebooter's Fate as well. These guys are neat just because they have like the vehicles. This is my other favorite one because you got these little people that like shoot, which is fun. But then you have these really tall people that have like multiple arms and they're kind of lanky. And so I like, and then they even have like these like troll people, like these really big people that are kind of neat. So like I like how there's 3 very distinct like body types in this one. So these are probably the 2 I like. And that's normally what you'll do is you'll back like 2. And then that's like your, you know, you have a lot of options for crews and stuff within those 2. That being said, I have like 8 armies in Warhammer 40,000. So what the heck do I know? But that's kind of the idea. Either way, can be pretty pricey. So just as an FYI on that. Okay, next up we have Leviathan Wilds second printing plus Deep Veil expansion. This is pretty cool. I remember covering Leviathan Wilds and I thought it looked like a neat idea. What's interesting here is there's no like promotion for following, and yet double the amount of people are following than who backed the first one, which shows that there's interest, and a lot of them are probably returning. But it can't be all of them returning because literally they were in the 4,000 range in their original Kickstarter. See, here's their Kickstarter here. You'll see 4,000 backers there. Now, of course, that's not including Pledge Manager, but still, seeing 8,000 people interested in this, pretty darn good sign that this was actually a nice game. So that's awesome to see. And it looks like a lot of fun. I always thought it was a very unique theme that's very different from what you're used to, which is awesome. So, yeah, I guess if you've played this, let me know. Oh, one of the cool things, this is a great way, if you ever see something that's a repeat, or even another company that's done several games, look at their campaigns and see if you can find comments like this. We'll say it again, what a great game, what a great package, and what a great KS experience, with several other people responding in agreement. Obviously, I think it hit pretty well, and that's a good sign for this one. So, yeah, that's awesome. All right, next up we have Zombie Horde. This is also coming out again. Again, it was previously launched, didn't do very well. Some of their tiles weren't so great. The campaign wasn't put on so well. Darkgate Games is like stuck in like the AA series, right? Where they make some very interesting games, but they're not like a big company, and it kind of shows, right? They do have this great looking freaking sculpt that you get. So you get this Necronaw boss, which is pretty awesome. You also get a boss rush mode with this guy that you get to fight, which is kind of fun. So I like, and again, they're talking about the colony phase where you get to like set up your base and do stuff like that. So it sounds like a pretty interesting game. They just need to really show what makes it unique and different and cool. I think that's going to be the key for them. But either way, over 2,500 people waiting for this. Now, of course, they do have an incentive to click the follow button. We'll see how many transfer to actual backers. Okay, finally, Dying Light, the board game. The actual Pledge Manager has now launched, so they do have the Pledge Manager now, and they are going to be unlocking more stretch goals in there, which is kind of cool. I actually have this game, or the prototype at least, and I have an unboxing that'll be coming up soon, so I can show you at least, hey, here's the prototype and where it was at. By the way, you can now actually go get this in a Pledge Manager, so it's actually so relevant to you, even though it's kind of a late unboxing for the campaign. I was moving at the time that this kind of launched, but yeah, I can tell you, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to it. It's pretty neat. Stay tuned for that, of course. Subscribe if you haven't, if you appreciate videos like this, where I do kind of try and dive a little deep into some of these, especially if I'm really interested in it, and really curate to show just the things I'm kind of interested in. Then there is that subscribe button. Feel free to do that. If you liked this video specifically, a thumbs up certainly helps, or a comment, let me know. And if you would like to see me look into anything else, of course, a comment lets me know that as well. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Check out Into the AM. They're having a great sale. Fantastic shirts, 10% off. Take care, guys. Bye.